Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this short webinar on the topic of talent retention, the secret to keeping your employees satisfied and engaged. I'd like to start with going into a bit of a historical model done by Herzberg back in 1959. Herzberg introduced the two-factor motivation hygiene theory. And in essence, what it is that the hygiene factors that are the bare minimum for organizations to get right will not necessarily motivate people or make them feel engaged. But if these hygiene factors are missing, then they might leave, or they might become dissatisfied and disengaged at work. So some of those include your quality of supervision, so management and how you get on with your manager, your boss, job security, job status, salary, company policies, working conditions, relationships with people around you in the workplace. And then the motivation factors that will engage you and keep you motivated to work are things like performance and achievement, a sense of being recognized and valued, and sense of having responsibility, having opportunities to grow personally and professionally, and being interested in the work that you do. So how has things changed since 1959? Well, the picture does not look very different. We think things evolve and change, and even after COVID, things evolve and change, but actually, things are pretty much similar in terms of what motivates us as humans in the workplace. So some research were done in 2023. And what we have here is the things that fosters employee retention and loyalty are things like positive relationships with your supervisors, learning and development opportunities, having recognition and being rewarded for the good work that you do, having clear career advancement opportunities. So are you growing? Is there progress for you? And also having that inclusive work environment where you feel supported. And on the other hand, what drives employees away? Well, if there's a toxic work environment or a negative culture, people will leave. If there are poor leadership or management, people will leave. If the salary is not fair, people will leave. And if there is a lack of balance, so the workloads are excessively high and it gets in the way of life, then that is also not sustainable. So very interesting. This is from lots of sources, but this is kind of the main points that keeps coming through from lots of different research. Let's also have a little look at what's happening with the workforce. So, by 2030, which is 5.5 years from now, there will be 75% of millennials in the workforce. So the workforce is changing. So young people coming into the workplace with different views to maybe different generations. At the moment, we've got about 50% of millennials in the workforce, so it is going to grow. Now, 92% of millennials think recognition of accomplishments is very important. So that shows you why it's important to continue to recognize people's good work and verbalize and make clear the value they bring to your organization. And then the last little point there is millennials are 22 times more likely to stay with a company that cultivates trust. So this is another reference to the importance of culture in your organization. Couple of sobering facts. Did you know 1 in 5 people leave jobs because of poor leadership? And about 500,000 people a year leave because of conflict in the workplace. So leadership is super, super important, and getting that right to kind of help create your culture is not soft skills or a load of nonsense. It's actually critically important, especially as the work of world evolves, and being proactive around tackling conflict in the workplace. So having systems in place where you can get to resolution informally, and quicker can also save you a lot of money than having to always do disciplinaries or some of those formal processes that often ends up in tribunals. So having a think about how can you cultivate a space at work where people talk to each other, and sometimes you'll have to facilitate that if it's too difficult for them. So what can business leaders do to attract, retain, and grow talent in their workplace? These 5 C's that I'm going to share with you in a minute is a consolidation of my experience. It's based on research, and it's based on what I'm hearing and experiencing with all the people that I work with on a daily basis. I obviously do a lot of coaching. I talk to people from all cultures, age ranges, industries, and I honestly, truly believe that if you get these 5 focus areas right, you will retain your talent in your workplace. So the first one is capable people managers. The second one is a culture of safety where your employees can be their whole self. The third one is care and support. The fourth one is communicate clear direction. And fifth, having a conflict resolution system in place that works, and your people are equipped to make it work. I'll go into each of these 5. So the first one on the topic of capable people managers, just have a look at these 2 faces. Which one of these faces would you approach? Would you feel comfortable to talk to? In essence, it's not a technical tick box exercise. It is quite simple, and it does not have to cost money. It is really how a manager makes someone feel that will either engage or disengage them. And every interaction counts when you're building those relationships and that trust. This all starts at recruitment, so employing the right people and people management roles are super important. But what I see happen very, very often is people who are brilliant technically are put in positions where they have people reporting into them. And then make sure that if somebody is put in a position where they have responsibility for a team, make sure that you equip them with the knowledge, tools, and techniques on that ongoing process. Culture of safety, be your whole self. Very often people come to work masking things that's going on for them. So this could be mental health that they are masking. This could be neurodiverse traits that they are masking. And it's all about fitting in, isn't it? And if you don't have employees that can feel honest and safe to entrust you with what they need from you in the workplace for them to be shining, then you're missing an opportunity. So the safer you can make your work culture and environment feel, the better. So how can you do this? Creating a culture of psychological safety is what they would call it, because the more you know about what's going on for your employees and what they need from you, the more data you have so that you can make sure you set up a system that works for everyone. So, is it equality or is it equity? Every person is different. From a top-down approach, I would suggest that the leadership team make it known what the company stands for, and then champion company-wide education campaigns to help your employees see what you're expecting from their people and what kind of organization you are. So make it clear to them so that they can feel safe, and help them be open-minded. If you have your employees more aware and respectful towards each other and open-minded towards diversity and inclusion, then you're halfway there. And from a bottom-up approach, I would equip my people managers on the ground to really be knowledgeable and have the skills and confidence to notice symptoms and manage situations appropriately in the moment, day to day. This could actually prevent lots of issues later on down the line. On the topic of care and support, so I'd like to tell you a little story. So this is Abby. Abby is managing a serious mental health condition. And this means that she doesn't always get things right socially. She's also neurodiverse with some ADHD traits, which means sometimes it's difficult for her not to interrupt or to have a filter on her thoughts. And she does feel emotions to the extreme, which is part of her mental health condition. So Abby is a millennial in the workplace with a career ambition to become a solicitor. So she works in a professional organization. She's very, very clever, conscientious, and she's a hard worker. She started working at this law firm about a year ago, and while she was completing her law degree part-time. So 6 months into her employment, she received feedback from her boss that she behaved unprofessionally during a work social. And this was very upsetting for Abby because she's a very proud young woman. And it impacted her confidence pretty big. And she was completely unsure in terms of how she was expected to behave in those settings and what exactly she did wrong. Fortunately for her, the company is equipped to support their employees effectively. And so they assigned Abby an internal development coach. And this coach has really helped her to regain her confidence. So they also have mental health first aiders, for example, available. And Abby has actually had a chat with one of them when she was having a particularly difficult day. So this is just an example. So what would have happened if they didn't have an internal development coach or mental health first aid for her? They'd probably have lost her. Somebody's only been there 6 months. They could probably gotten rid of her. But what's happened is, she's still there. She's doing amazingly well. She's a real asset to the company. She has learned through the coaching how to navigate her way in the world of work, and she's absolutely soaring. So without very little cost and time, they turned a potential situation that could have looked very differently around in a very, very positive way. So good on this organization. They're obviously equipped and open-minded to really support their people. Communicating clear direction. If you do have a diverse workforce in terms of age, gender, culture, race, and even just diverse talents, some people might be more detailed than others, some people might be more feisty than others, some people might be more social than others. Everybody's different. And where organizations get it wrong is that they would employ lots of diverse talent into their business, but then they don't bring them all together successfully. So one way of really connecting and bringing a diverse workforce together is to have a shared vision. Where are we going? And is the purpose of the organization emotive? You know, are you excited to be part of this journey with this organization? Are there shared goals with teams and just with leadership teams from across different departments? This is how you can really bring your talent together and having everyone with all the richness of difference work together to a brighter future. Okay, let's look at the next one. So number 5 was conflict resolution system. So in the UK, we do spend millions of pounds on grievances, disciplinaries, and tribunal costs. We lose people to sickness, very often stress and anxiety, or leaving the company, meaning you have to start again, and the recruitment process and onboarding time all cost money. So why not have a conflict resolution policy and process in place? It starts with informally getting your people who are in conflict to communicate with each other and resolve their pain points before it escalates into costly issues for everyone. So make sure your team is equipped and confident in this process. And there's also the option of getting an external workplace conflict mediator in to support if needed. Spending £1,000 on a mediation program will cost you a lot less than a tribunal, losing talent or carrying someone's work who is off sick with stress and anxiety. It's really a no-brainer. And I'm often surprised that not more organizations think about this. Remember, almost 500,000 of people leave every year because of conflict in the workplace. So this could be a quick win, actually. So to bring it all together, really remember why, your why in terms of why you want to retain your talent. Why do you want to retain your talent? What made you interested in this topic today? And then stay connected with that why. What is the reason for investing time and energy into engaging your people at work? And then your how to engage them. You can use these 5 C's that I shared with you today as a compass for your people engagement strategy. And you can have a little look into these different areas to do a little health check to see how it's going and is there anything that can be done better in these areas. And then, of course, the what is what your business does through your people and the quality of the productivity you expect to see with your clients. So you can measure the shift for investment in time to retain your talent as well if you do that bit. So I'd like to end on the point of looking after your people, and your people will look after your business. Thank you very much.